Welcome back to my podcast. This is Motivation is Everything, and this is our morning podcast, episode 3. This is going to be a 2-part series. If you haven't actually checked out the other 2 podcasts, podcast 1 and 2, do feel free to check down on my channel. You will find podcast 1 and 2, and they're all kind of linked to just trying to kind of help people, edify people, motivate people, and get them to achieve goals, successful achievement that they set their minds to. So that's what this podcast is going to be all about. It's going to be tapping into different parts of motivational topics and just trying to get people to get their heart and thinking about what their next steps will be. So one of the things I am going to be talking about in this 2-part series is about the mindset. One of the fundamental things that determines if someone is going to be successful in whatever they do will be their mindset. So in this 2-part series, I'm going to start by talking about why is your mindset important in part 1, which is going to be episode 3. And then in episode 4, I will be talking about the importance or how to change your mindset. Which mindset do you have and how do we go about changing that mindset? This might actually extend into a 3-part series. We'll see how that goes. So we'll be investigating people's mindset and how they can go about changing that mindset over the course of this whole podcast. But to get us started, we need to actually look at what is mindset and how is it important, or why is it important to your success? Why is it important to getting you out of the doldrum, out of where you find yourself at any point in time? Because if you're able to tap into this understanding of mindset, you should be able to begin to get your life on track into where you need to be. One of the things that I found very fascinating as an engineering kind of stand, and as an engineering person that kind of looks into engineering and as a scientist, is that life and almost everything has a substructure, and the substructure determines it acts like an underlying support for whatever happens above that particular object. And that's where sometimes we almost worry ourselves about the superstructure, which is what goes on to become the establishment, what you get on to do, and we forget that the substructure holds everything in place. And that is what the mindset is. Think of Rome was built, and most people will almost think of Rome as this magnificent sets of building, but underneath Rome there was this foundation and substructure that held everything above ground in place. And you kind of see this in almost what is called the iceberg scenario, where you've got the iceberg floating above, but underneath there is a substructure that kind of holds the iceberg, that carries almost all of the power of that iceberg. And that's what the mindset really is. Your mindset is that substructure that determines everything that you go on to become. It kind of shapes how you interact with your world. It frames how you respond to different things in your world. So I'm going to look at 5 ways in which your mindset kind of affects or helps you to achieve what you set out to achieve. And one of the first thing your mindset helps is developing a healthy self-esteem. Now, having the right mindset is key to your self-esteem. Boxers kind of key into this a lot, especially elite boxers. You see them when they go into the stand, they go to stand off. One thing they always do is they stand to each other and they kind of use all of these words and they call each other different names, and all they're trying to do is to intimidate and change the mindset of the other person And effectively, all they're trying to do is lower their self-esteem. One of my most favorite boxers was Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson was absolutely elite at using his self-esteem to kind of put other people or his opponents down. And all of this was down to the substructure, what he believed about himself. And that was his mindset. He was like, I'm the best, and I will always be the best at what I do. And once I step into this ring, I will show you that I'm the best. And when he comes across like that, it's not necessarily that he's putting on, people see the superstructure, which is what he projects. But they forget that underneath there is a substructure, which is the mindset that makes him elite, that makes him feel like there's nothing you can do. Now, over the next few podcasts, we're going to talk about how do you develop that elite mindset. What are some of the things that you do that helps you do that? So I'm going to stop here I'm going to kind of pack here on talking about how to develop that elite mindset, and we'll move on to what's the second thing that having a good mindset can do for you. It really gives you that winning perspective. Now, have you ever come in contact with those people who one of the biggest problem is that they always see things from a pessimistic perspective, and it changes everything about you. How you view your goals will determine whether you go on to achieve them or not. The perspective you attach to something helps you go on to achieve it, or kind of deters you from going on to achieve it. I know there's a famous saying, I can't quite remember who made that quote. He says, nothing has a meaning in of itself. It has a meaning that you attach to it. That is perspective in its fullest form. It says nothing has a meaning in of itself. It gains a meaning you attach to it. That is perspective. How you look at a problem determines whether it is a surmountable one or an impossible one. How you go about achieving something determines whether you're going to look at it from a problematic point of view or an opportunistic point of view. And the world is absolutely filled with lots of pessimists and very few optimists. The difference between the pessimist and the optimist is not that they see different things, they see the same thing, but they look at them from different perspectives. What guides the perspective? Perspective is really the superstructure. The substructure is the mindset. The right mindset creates the opportunistic perspective. The wrong mindset creates a pessimistic perspective. So that is one of the importance of having the right mindset. The third thing about having a mindset or the right mindset is that it gives you the ability to dig in and harness drive to the finish line. Now, one of the things that you find around the world are unfinished projects. You get people who start things to go on to finish, and one of the things they kind of lack is drive. See, drive is all about having not the starting power, but the staying power. Having the right mindset gives you that staying power. When everything around is kind of coming apart, drive gives you that staying power to push. Keep pushing, because you cannot achieve anything with drive. When you're thinking of, do I just lie down and sleep? Get up, do something. When you're thinking, okay, I'm just gonna give myself a rest for today, I can't go to the gym today, or I'm just gonna, eat this for today, drive says, no, you gotta go, let's go for it. all of that comes from having the right mindset. And remember what we said mindset is. Mindset is that set of core beliefs that form a substructure that gives you the platform to interact with your world. Fourthly, one of the things that mindset will help you is provide you the guidance in the face of adversity. Now, life in of itself is a hard endeavor. One thing that is as constant as the air we breathe is adversity in life. One thing that is as constant as the air we breathe is the challenges, the setbacks. Even for those who have no goals, they still have setbacks. People who have goals would also have setbacks. The difference between those who get carried away by their setbacks and those who move on to kind of achieve things regardless of their setback is this substructure, their mindset. Because how your mind is developed and designed makes you approach your setback not as the end of the road, but as a chance to see a different thing and how to go about things differently. And that is where the mindset helps with guiding you through adversities of life, because adversity is a constant. So the more you develop the right mindset, the better you are at dealing with adversity. Because adversity will be there. As a teacher, I always tell my students, breathe and keep moving. Because you will face adversity. You will walk into exam halls and it will look like, I've never seen this ever before. How come my teacher never taught me this? That is adversity. That is life. You will face new challenging circumstances every day. But do you have that mindset that is rooted in something that is fundamentally optimistic? That will guide you through that adversity. That would guide you towards looking for the opportunity in the adversity. But all of that is down to how do you view your situation? How you view your situation is the perspective that your mindset provides. And finally, why is your mindset very important? Because it takes you across the line. Your mindset is fundamentally important to helping you cross the line. I remember when I was not a good runner in school, but I did give it all my best. I remember the 100 meters was something I quite enjoyed, even though I was never the first at any of that. Maybe because of my short legs or whatever. I'm not making excuses. But the 100 meters wasn't something that I dreaded. I actually quite enjoyed it because of the short, sharp burst of pace. But one of the things I found about the 100 meters was that the first 50 meters, you actually accelerated to your maximum and you were able to keep that for the next 20-30 meters at your maximum. The last 20 meters was probably the hardest. Whether you were behind or in front, whether you were the second or in the middle, regardless of wherever you found yourself, those last 20 meters were the hardest of them all. Because that finish line, the drive past the finish line, the final yards, almost is the hardest. That's where the right mindset guides you to the finish line. Having the right mindset tells you it's not time to stop. We've got the goal in sight. If you've got 10, 20 more %, I need them now. And even if you watch Olympic races, you kind of see people tend to slow down at the finish line. People slow down towards the end, and then you've got other people pacing, increasing to the finish line. The difference is that they all probably have got to a point where they've exhausted their energy, but somebody else has the mindset. This last 20 yards is the difference between my name being written down in history and me just being the second person. And that mindset of I will do it no matter what it costs. This 20 yards, I've got to find the energy to drive to the finish line. Now, this comes from having the right mindset. So I believe that I have kind of painted a good picture of why the right mindset is good. 5 reasons why you need to have the right mindset. In the next subsequent podcast, I'm going to look at what are some of the mindsets that help people achieve these things. So stay tuned for that. Come back tomorrow and you should be able to have a look at those mindsets and how you can develop a winning mindset. Thank you for your time. Please subscribe, leave a comment below, and also feel free to support by joining as a Patreon or cash in the Cashapp. I'm gonna, over the next few months, begin a live stream. As the audience increases, I'll begin a live stream and we'll chat with people on live. Also remember that we have an Instagram page and we're in the process of creating a Facebook page as well. Please join that, and thank you very much.